Today we're putting together a one-of-a-kind tool set for just around 30 bucks. Stay tuned. Greetings adventurers and welcome to Skill Tree, where we learn how to do just about everything. Today I drink from the special whiskey. That's because thanks to you, we just crossed 200,000 subscribers. Absolutely insane. Now we're gonna be doing some stuff to celebrate this. We'll talk about it at the end. I just wanted to take a moment to thank you all so much up front. It really does mean the world to me. It is insane that it has grown this big. Here's to you and 200,000 more of your friends, hopefully. It's good. So one of the more common things I hear from you in the comments section is that getting tools together to do any of the skills that I do here can be a little expensive. And I totally get that. It usually kind of takes a lifetime to build up a tool collection. But I'm gonna tell you right now, it does not need to cost a lot for most tools. And not only that, but you can get better quality tools than you'd usually find in a big box store for super cheap. That's today's episode. Today I'm gonna show you how to pick up some amazing tools on a shoestring budget. To do this, I did one of my favorite things and ventured to a flea market. This magical land is not only where old hobbies and forgotten New Year's resolution go to die. Also chairs, like so many chairs. Guys, if you're buying chairs anywhere else, just don't. Just go somewhere else. But these are really great places to find just a whole bunch of tools that people didn't know what else to do with. Granted, some of them are kind of rocked. Like this first place I tried out, everything was kind of just piled together, a hot mess. But that's part of the fun. It's like a treasure hunt. You can find the diamonds in the rough. For example, while digging around, I found this dope as hell saw, as well as this scythe blade. Guys, I bought the scythe blade. I'm not counting that in the overall price of what this is worth. I don't know what I'm gonna do with it yet. But it's like this big and awesome, so I bought it. But I left that place with not only a scythe blade, but some clamps and everything. You'll see it all at the end. And I spent a grand total with the scythe blade of $10. I spent $10 for it. It's great. Then after that, I went to this nice as hell place right here, which is kind of thrift shop, kind of antique store near me. And you can tell by the layout, it is significantly nicer. Though, not significantly more expensive, actually. So after wrestling myself away from buying this incredible chest here, I may go back for it. I did find these badass wooden levels. They still had the liquid in them, so the bubble worked, everything looked even. And honestly, they just kind of had a lot of personality, so I wanted to grab them. I also came to this spot where this guy took really great care of refurbishing all their tools and left with a couple of things from there too. All in all, between the two places, I spent around $30, $35, somewhere around there. But look at all of the stuff I got. Not only is that a good steal, but all of these are really great quality. And that's the two tips I kind of want to talk about when we're doing this. One, don't get other people's junk. If it's stuff that just straight up doesn't work and you can't see yourself around fixing it, it's not worth grabbing. Don't bother. Unless it's a scythe blade, I'm telling you guys, it's nice. And two, my only other rule while doing this is I don't buy electric tools from like a flea market or something. And that's because like there's usually not a place for you to plug it in and try it out in the first place. But then also you don't know if it has bushings or brushes or anything that's going bad. And you're basically buying a problem that you're gonna have to get rid of anyways. That's my rule. You do you. I'm sure there's plenty of places you can find some great tools that still work. But for me, something like a flea market or an antique place or whatever, that's only hand tools. All right, check out what I got. First and foremost, this nifty little ball peen hammer here. It was super well taken care of. It's from the guy who removes all the rust and refurbishes them and everything. The handle's still in good shape. The whole thing is fantastic. Now, I tried to pick up as many tools as I could that was from my like top 10 tools that I use all the time list, and a ball peen hammer is right there on the top. The next thing I picked up is this kind of combination square here, which both fulfills my metal ruler straight edge, but then also a square, which is clutch. This thing is a tank made out of solid steel, still in really good shape, everything works great. And when compared to my newer one here that's all aluminum, like just the feel of quality, it feels really, really good. And I only got it for like $1.25 or something like that. It's crazy. Oh, if you're keeping track too, the ball peen hammer I think was $3. The only downside with this square is that the numbers were a little hard to see. I think I can fix that. I just got to get rid of all the pitting and rust. A thing I don't have to fix though is this incredible plane. Look at this thing. This is nowhere near the top of my like tools everybody needs, but look at it. I couldn't resist. Even the blade is perfect. If you're gonna buy one of these secondhand, there's the two things. One, the blade usually has like nicks and chips in it because people don't generally know how to use it very well. And two, the bottom of it has to be plain. It has to be flat because you're trying to flatten something with kind of that as your guide, right? This checked both those boxes off. This thing's fantastic. It was also the more pricey of everything I got. It was $12, I believe, but everything I got from this store also had a 20% discount off of it, so I come out clean in the end. Next up, I just paid $1 for these needle nose pliers. These ones also have little side cutters built into them. They're in fantastic shape. They open and close, which honestly is like better than half of the ones I have in my drawer. I keep them clean, but I gotta oil them every once in a while because stuff gets in there, you know what I mean? Then I also got a couple of these little C-clamps here because you can never have enough clamps. They work really well, just a little bit of rust that'll come right off. $1 a piece. Those as well as these big old wooden clamps. Now, these things are kinda rocked. The screw mechanism in them, they're all like rusty and everything, and the wood looks janky, but I can get around that. Everything works in them, and that's all I needed to do. I can fix this. Not only that, but those are like the non-marring. I have a few of them already. They're just my favorite clamps. And I saved the best two groupings for last here. That saw I found in that really kind of messy area is this beautiful number right here. It's got a gorgeous design. It feels really good in the hand. The teeth are all still perfectly sharp, but, and here's where kind of the fun part is. I actually looked it up. It's got a medallion on it that says Keen Cutter. And apparently they're really good saws. Looking it up, the medallion on it and the design means that this particular one was made anywhere between like 1892 and like 1920s, somewhere in there. Which honestly, I think makes this an antique, right? It was just cast asunder. In fact, I looked back at the footage of being in there and there's 3 more of these kinds of saws there. And I am 100% going back and get them. The quality of this saw is out of this world. It's really, really good. But not only did I get that for a nice find, but check out these levels here. So I talked about them before. They're super solid feeling. I really like the brass that are kind of inlaid in it and on the ends. But I noticed on that brass, it had a little serial number on it. But when I looked that up, it turns out these are from roughly that same age. It was made somewhere between 1892, I think it was, and 1914 for this particular design. Which, for it to be in this good a shape, it's still level, has everything, I'm really kind of excited about that. Now for both of these, I made sure to look it up first before I touched them, in case they're like collector's items or something. I don't want to destroy a piece that has like other intrinsic values. But to me, it is a tool, and a tool wants to be used. So I'm super eager to clean these up. But yeah, and the 2 of those, I think were for around $12 as well, something like that. Making the grand total, once you math it out, I think just under $30. Let's see, 12, 24, yeah, around there, around the $30. Now that's all well and good, and most of these tools are perfectly fine as is. But I really wanted to fix up that clamp and then make those antique ones really, really nice so I can kind of use them and have them around. You know, I don't want to sound like I'm being super like retention or whatever, but you need to stick around to see how those levels turn out. God damn. Ugh, my heart. First though, let's hit up those clamps. So I'm gonna be honest with you. These were in worse shape than I thought they were. I started at first by trying to unscrew the kind of screw mechanisms out of them, but I quickly realized once they reach their ends, they kind of just stop and the handles free spin. So that wasn't happening. I couldn't get it past the screw there for whatever reason. So I started cleaning off the rust, just hitting it with WD-40, using my wire brush to try to get it off. And though they were cleaning up really nice, it still wasn't working. So I just went ahead and pulled those handles off so I can get a better view of what was going on. And so that maybe I can unscrew it from the other side instead. And that's when I realized what happened. I could see the picture of the craftsperson doing this in my head. So at some point, they were over tightening those or whatever, and because it is cheap, those handles started to spin. Rather than take those handles off and re-glue them up or whatever, they decided instead to use some channel locks to turn it, which is why the thread here is all chewed up. That's what was getting stuck, so I couldn't go any further. But this really isn't that big of a deal. All I did was grab this small file here and just kind of go in between those threads. It just takes a couple of strokes to even these back out, and then the whole thing was able to come apart. But, and look at me here, don't use channel locks on threads, people. I am guilty of it. I've done it before in the past, and I've learned my lesson. Don't do it, it's not worth it. With the threaded rods removed though, we're also able to get out these kind of rounded nuts here so we can clean them up as well. Cleaning this thing up is dead easy. I just took some sandpaper on a board and went to town on it. And honestly, it didn't take very long till these things were looking sweet. The vast majority of that was just like age grime. It was fine. The same with all those nuts, just a little bit of steel wool and everything was looking really shiny. The threaded rod cleaned up easily too. Honestly, nothing was rusted all the way through. It was just kind of surface, so it just came right off. Now, from here, I figured that let's not just clean these things. Let's make them better. So I like these wooden ones because they don't mar as much, at least. But with the ones I have, sometimes they still do mar, and also sometimes they have issue with grip. So I decided, wouldn't it be cool if we took some of these leather strips here and lined the insides with them? Now I'm using only like 2-ounce leather because I don't want it to deform and become squishy, because then it's not really clamping very well, is it? But to attach it, all I did was add some barge cement to both pieces and then carefully stuck it into place once it had some cure time. Then I rolled it around just to get some onto the bullnose area there too. Once that was good and stuck, I just went around it with my razor knife to remove any of the material to make sure it was perfect. And because I can see the outline of the holes through it, I just went in with my X-Acto blade and cut those out as well. Now these things have just like a little bit of extra grip to them, but also won't mar any like the softer metal stuff I might work with or other leather. So happy with that, I actually decided to just use some leather dye to not only dye the leather, but the whole damn thing. Honestly, leather dye works really good on wood. Then for added protection, I just used some of this boiled linseed oil over the whole thing. This is gonna keep it safe if it gets wet, keep the wood from getting too dry and cracking, and also kind of makes it look shiny and pretty. Happy with that, I just started putting everything back together. The nuts in their places, threading everything so I made sure everything fit flush once it was all like tightened up. The final thing to do is actually to stick those handles back on permanently. To do that, I just used a 2-part epoxy, which I mixed up and then kind of just shoved into the handles there. Then I shoved those handles back into place. Not all that hard. And look at them! Look at how pretty these things are. They're perfect. They're super smooth with how they work. The handles are nice and secure. I have no problem with them. And they're friggin' gorgeous, right? Like, these are nice. Super nice. And only for a few bucks and a little bit of my time. I'm not gonna lie. I'm actually really proud of these. It's kind of silly because these aren't super expensive anyways. I think you can get the same kind of clamps for like, I don't know, 15, 20 bucks at Home Depot. But these are officially mine. There are no others like this in the world. They're really good quality now. Everything works great. I love them. I love them so much. I can't wait to use them. Now, if you do decide to refurbish things, do a project like this, I highly recommend you wear coveralls or something. Like, look at this guy. Look at him. I don't think those clothes will ever get rust out of them. I even had like nice shoes on. I'm so garbage at this. I just get inside and get excited and just don't change. I'm the worst. What I did remember to do though is wear a mask. God knows what kind of stuff is sealing all these tools up and whatever, and you just don't want to be breathing any of that in. And then make sure you dust yourself off too before you go to where other people are, because you don't want to make them breathe it in either. Speaking of which, have you heard of today's sponsor, Fume? Honestly, if you've been watching this channel for any amount of time, you've heard of Fume. I love this thing. For the uninitiated, Fume is a flavored air device, which does exactly what it says on the tin. It flavors the air. Basically, it has these little flavor cores that go inside of them, and as you take the air into your mouth, it adds like a flavor to it. It's really good. Which one was this one? I think this one, yeah, this one's the cinnamon heart. God, I love this one. Anyways, the real nice part about it is there's no smoke, no vapor, nothing to disturb the people around you. You can use it anywhere. Not only that, but it has a good weight. It is made specifically for people like me who love to fiddle. It has like a little textile clickiness, which I love. I love the clickiness. And they even make these little rubber toppers here, so it's more comfortable to kind of like hold it in your mouth or whatever. Anyways, all that just makes it a really great habit replacement tool, and I've really enjoyed having it. And apparently, a lot of you like it too, because now over like 500,000 people have added it to their routine. And right now, if you order a journey pack and use my code SKILLTREE, you get one of these free Fume toppers too. Just go to tryfume.com/skilltree or check out my QR code there to get yours today. Okay, now we're getting into the really juicy bits. Oh my God, you're gonna love this. First, let's start with that saw. It is gorgeous. It has amazing detail to it. It just hasn't been cared for at all. It's got nicks everywhere. The finish is kind of janky. The blade, although super sharp, is really kind of weathered. It was honestly just thrown in a pile with a bunch of other lesser saws. So first things first, I decided to take this apart, and blessedly, it all just kind of came apart super easy. There was no rust at all at any of the threads. Everything came apart nicely, and the blade just pulled right on out of the handle. Now, because it is a nicer piece with some provenance, I decided to go really slow with this thing. So I just kind of hand sanded it with as high a grit of sandpaper as I can get away with and still have it be functional. Mostly because I didn't want to lower its profile really at all and take away any of the pop of the design. This took longer, but look at how pretty that is. It cleaned up so nice. I really love this thing. I loved it so much, in fact, that I didn't want to ruin it by staining it or anything. So I just kind of cleared away the dust out of all the little recesses and slapped some boiled linseed on it immediately. And this was the right choice. Look at how pretty that is. Oh my God, I love it so much. Oh, that little leaf details pop looks so good. Oh, it's so great. And after giving the rivets a really light polishing, I simply screwed it all back together. And look at that. Look at how gorgeous it is. Look at it. The blade cleaned up really nicely. I hit it with just a little bit of steel wool, and honestly, I like some of that patina. It even has the original writing that goes on the blade here, which I guess is like a big deal if you're a collector. I tried to be as respectful as possible to the original design of what it is, but look at it. It feels so good in the hand too. This is the nicest saw I own. I love this thing. And this was in a pile of stuff that I got for 10 bucks, including a scythe blade. So cool. Though, if you think this thing is cool, wait till you see those levels, yo. Again, these things have seen some better days. They've not been cared for very well. All of the fittings on them are super loose, but I can see the glimmer of potential here. So just like with everything else, I start with disassembly. And honestly, that wasn't too hard because most of those screws barely hanging on. I can just kind of pull them out. We're lucky any of them were still in place, to be honest. That said, the wood underneath is good. It didn't rot away or anything. It was dry, which is probably part of the problem, but there was no like moisture damage at all. Everything was fine. And the brass pieces were in really good shape too. A couple of dings here and there, but you know what? For being over 100 years old, yeah, it looks pretty good. It's pretty nice. Now, over the past couple of months, I've actually been working a lot with brass, so I've become like an old hand at shining brass up. I honestly just started with some 400 grit sandpaper to get off any of the patina here, and then polished it all the way up to 2000. And look at how pretty they are. That took almost no effort, and they're gorgeous. Man, people need to take care of their stuff. Can you imagine? That's just sitting in a pile somewhere. That's really nice. After that, I just took a little alcohol and a rag and made sure the bubbles were clean, no cracks or anything. And again, it cleaned up perfectly. The little glass vials have lasted 100 years. That's really neat. Now, just like with the saw, I decided to take my time with this. I didn't want to take just a sander to it or whatever. I wanted to be mindful not to change its profile at all. If you're working with something that you don't care, that's fine. You just beat the heck out of it. But like this, I decided to take my time and really sand it down. And I'm glad I did, because the wood underneath is absolutely exquisite. I think this is cherry. It is so pretty. So much so, in fact, that I also went to like 2000 grit with this thing. I tried to polish it as much as possible. It was so nice. Next, though, I really wanted to address what I think is kind of the dry rot, which made those screws pull out. The wood around it feels perfectly fine, so I figured if I can close those holes up a little bit, it might help. So to do that, I just added some of this wood filler into those holes. This stuff dries pretty damn hard. It's going to be underneath everything, so you can't see it. And I think it's going to add enough space in there that new screws can hold on to it better. Then I went back in with some really fine sandpaper just to polish up that brass there. And oh my God, look at how pretty that is. Even just as it is right now, it is leaps and bounds better than it was, and it's such a cool piece. So in an effort to try to do it right, I actually used a hairdryer to heat up the wood a little bit. This is just gonna open up those wood fibers and help it accept the oil that I put on it next. And when that boiled linseed oil hits it, wow, look at the grain, look at the color. That color in like juxtaposition with the brass, oh my God, this is beautiful. Now, eventually, I'm gonna buy some screws that are more like the originals it came with. I have the originals, I was able to clean them up, but one, they didn't use brass, they're just steel screws, and because of their age, they become pitted and kind of nasty looking. So I replaced them with these brass screws here. But the brass screws have little Phillips head there, which wouldn't have been accurate for the time. I'm not really going for an actual restoration here, but I think it would be cool to get the accurate screws for it. It's just, I don't know, with the vision of what it originally was. But with everything screwed back in place, look at that. Look at how amazing these pieces are. These are officially the nicest tools I own. These, the saw, oh my God, I love them so much. And this is part of just a greater haul that I got for around $30. $30 and a night of playing with tools got me all these really, really nice tools. I am gonna contain myself and stop gushing about it, but I've like had these in my office the last few days just looking at them. They're real pretty. I don't know if the camera does it justice, but they're real pretty. So all this to say, there are a lot of really great options for fleshing out your workshop if you're not afraid to kind of go on a treasure hunt and then maybe fix them up a little bit. Extra points if you get the tools to fix the tools all in one thing. Like I could have bought the file that would have fixed everything in the same kind of bracket. There are a lot of tools. I think there's a lot of like estate sales. People don't know what to do with like grandpa's old tools or whatever, so they just throw them in a flea market. But for the same price, I got these and like one of the other smaller ones, a Home Depot like plastic one here. No shade on it. It is a level, it works. Though I will say I've had this one for about 5 years now and it has like a hump to it, so it's less than level most times. You gotta kind of push it against the wall to make it straight. But I mean, quality-wise, there's a difference, right? I think there's a difference. It's okay, level. I still love you, I'm just saying. But I'd love to hear what you have to say. Do you have any really great finds you made while you're out thrifting? Not only that, but it's more environmentally conscious. The more you can fix up old things, the less stuff end up in landfills, the less stuff have to be produced and sold again. Things are getting a little more expensive right now, so like, this might help. But let me know what you think. Have you made any incredible finds at a flea market or a yard sale or anything you'd like to talk about? Or do you have some other method of sourcing amazing tools? Let me and everybody else here know in the comment section below. Now, as I said in the forward, we've just hit 200,000 subscribers. Madness. And we'd like to do something for this. And this one, honestly, it caught Maddie and I by surprise a little bit. I think we stopped looking at it for just long enough for it to sneak up on us. But in the weeks to come, we're going to be putting a few things together, including some giveaways for you. Because honestly, none of this happens without you, and we really want to show you that we appreciate it. But yeah, make sure you check back in to see what we're doing and watch this space, because we'll have some goodies for you. Is that it? I think that's it. Okay. Well, I'm gonna go clean up just all of, you don't see it off camera, just all of the rust and dust and everything still there. I didn't finish this very long ago. And one more time, special thanks to our longtime sponsor, Flea. I really do think you'll love their product, so give it a try. In the meantime, though, keep leveling up, you. You've made it to the end screen, which is a fantastic way to support this channel. Another fantastic way to support this channel is by joining these people's noble ranks. These are our Patreon members, and we can't do any of this without them. Special shout out to our newest high-tier Patreon members, Skyrim and World Witch. And an extra special shout out to our Grandmaster tier Patreon members, Just a Guy from the Southwest, WildFox99, Froggy, Dragon Designs, and Yuri Sastro. From Hobbit tea sets to tool treasure hunts, we can't do any of this without their support. So really appreciate you guys. If you like what we do here enough to support us, consider joining our Patreon, link in the description below. Otherwise, you can click on one of these videos that YouTube thinks you'd like, and that helps too. Now, if you don't mind, I'm gonna go play with my new tools and just level things.